Hello, it's Jimmy here, O'Reilly. So just make a quick sort of explanation video on a diagnosis we've done on a Citroën here. So if we come over here and have a look, got a few different vehicles that I'm working on here, but we've got this Citroën Dispatch. So it's had the EGR replaced, air filter, a few other bits and pieces done. I did find that this wasn't clipped in right. So we've done a smoke test. We found no leaks, but we did find this wasn't clicked in right, so this was leaking. That can cause the fault that I've got here now, but these have got a known issue with the cam chain. There's a cam chain that goes between the gears. It has got a normal belt, but it's also got a cam chain that goes between the cam gears at the top here, and that gives you a known fault on these engines. So the only fault code we've got right here now is P20EE 92, but there was two other fault codes, which was P00BC and P02ED, I think it was. We'll get the fault codes back up in a minute, and we'll put them in the video description. Yeah, but if you are looking at these vehicles, obviously you can get the AdBlue issues up as well with this fault, because once you got the airflow out of range, it will affect or maybe even kill your DPF and the catalyst system. This has done 168,000 miles. And if you can see there, it does need a new DPF. So I'm not sure if you could see there while I was under the van. It's hard to reach under while, but basically, yeah, you got black soot on the exhaust tailpipe, and not just a little bit, lumps and lumps of it. We're getting a persistent P00BC code, airflow too low, and then another code P02ED or EC is airflow too high. So we've got airflow too high, airflow too low. What that is obviously the cams are timed up. Exhaust cams, inlet cams are timed up with a little small chain, and the chain stretches, and then the gears move basically, and then you're out of sync. So you will have too much air and too less air coming in at the wrong time. That's why you get the fault code come up. Now on this particular van, it has thrown a little bit of a spanner in the works, because we did find an air leak on the breather hose. So the breather hose wasn't connected. So anything that's fitted after the airflow meter, if you've got an air coming in or air coming out, it will affect obviously your airflow. But we're going to test drive it again, and it might take a long time. See, sometimes you can reset this. It might take a few days for that fault to come back, but most of the time, if you haven't got an air leak, so if you've got an air leak, fix your air leak, test drive it and go from there. But if the fault comes back and you haven't got an air leak, it's most likely these cam chains that we're talking about. So what I'm going to do here is just see if I can get a little quick Google of it, and as I'm typing it in, as you can see here, you got P02 and P00BC. It's quite a common code. Okay, so we've got a code there that comes up immediately. So if we have a look at that, we'll see there probably will be a lot of information on this. You got some of my videos there. See, that's a 1.6 engine, so it's different. That was a jammed throttle body. Again, that one I think is an air leak. It's a 1.6. This is a 2-litre engine, so the 1.5s are fairly different. Should probably find maybe a TSB here for it somewhere. Here we've got something here. See a picture of the cams. These are the cams that I'm talking about. Goes across the top. Diagnosed Dan. Got something on it here. Opel Ford 1.5 blue HDI Eco Blue. Starting problems. It can have starting problems if it's really bad. These are the chains. That's it there. So that chain becomes loose because the tensioner fails. And that is an explanation there. Oh well, it's going to be saying what I've said probably. Timing chain. There you go. Now unfortunately for this customer, he's got quite an expensive repair out of him, because not only does it need that cam chain fixing, it also has now a damaged DPF and catalyst. So it needs a DPF and catalyst replaced. Probably some of the temperature sensors and NOx sensors as well. Maybe some of them aren't going to come out. It's done 170,000 miles, which is doing well for one of these. And so he needs his cam chains, and he needs the whole exhaust system replaced. So A little bit of bad news. I think he was hoping for me to maybe find an air leak and clean his DPF, but it's not going to be going down that route today. So now I've reset the fault codes on this. We're just going to take it on a couple of miles drive. We might not have the fault come back, it depends how bad it is. Okay, so we can see after a test drive no fault codes have returned. That does not mean the fault codes will not come back, they will. It's just going to take some time, maybe a few hours, maybe a few days of driving. But the only route to go from here is to literally have that chain replaced. So that is it on the Dispatch, and I'll see you on the next video.